St. Patrick's Day, the Americanized holiday where we pretend we're Irish, we get day drunk, and we eat corned beef and cabbage. What even is corned beef? Why do we eat it on St. Patrick's Day? I will get into all of that and more as I show you how to make this tender and flavorful dish. When you make corned beef and cabbage, you have to start with corned beef. You can buy corned beef already corned, as one would say, or you can corn it yourself. To corn something is just to preserve it in a salty brine. So we have 7.5 quarts of water here, but we need all that water because we're gonna put 2 pounds of salt in it. 2 pounds. Dump her in there. FAQ, why is it called corning something if there's no corn involved? The coarse grains of salt used to coat the meat in order to preserve it looked kind of like studs of corn kernels. Who knew? Back in the olden days, it could take about a week. But because of the amount of salt that we're using, it's gonna take a day. It's time to put the meat in. You would use a flat cut of brisket. You don't have to trim too much, but you wanna make sure that it doesn't have a huge layer of fat on top. So let's carry them into the fridge. Ooh. Corned beef, y'all. Check it out. Oh yeah, you can definitely see the difference between this and its raw counterpart. So this is no longer a bright red. It's not as squishy as a raw meat would be. So this is cured. We're gonna do our corned beef and cabbage in our Instant Pot, which will take significantly less time than if you just did it on the stove or if you did your slow cooker, which would take like 80 million hours. This is only gonna take an hour and a half, but we're gonna use pretty much the same ingredients. You have sliced onion, pickling spice. It is a mixture of mustard seeds, black peppercorns, crushed up bay leaves, coriander seed, dill seed, allspice berries, red pepper flakes, a whole head of garlic that we just cut in half crosswise. We'll leave the peel on, and 2.5 cups of water. You wanna always have liquid in your pressure cooker. Put our trivet over top of all that stuff. In we go, whee! Oh. To top it all off, we're gonna add a nice beer. Glug, 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 glug. When you put the lid on, your little toggle will either be on venting or sealing. Flip that little guy over to sealing. So let's go to pressure cook right here. It is on high pressure, and we're going to add thyme. And this one goes for quite a while. We're gonna have this go for an hour and 20 minutes. It's gonna take about 10 to 15 minutes for it to come up to pressure. But after that, it's gonna be corned beef. We heard the magic bell ring on our Instant Pot, so let's vent it. Yee! Scares me every time. It naturally released for 20 minutes, so now it's just getting a little bit of that extra stuff out. We're gonna wait for this little doodad to go down. So now we're gonna transfer our corned beef to this plate. Oh, look at how tender that is. We remove our rack, strain out the liquid. Look at all of that juice. We're gonna put a cup of this back in here. All that flavor. You of course can keep this for, if you want. Next we'll add our vegetables. So we'll put in whole potatoes, some carrots that we cut into 1.5 to 2 inch pieces, and some cabbage that we'll cut into wedges. Cutting off the core, cutting off this little end here, and removing these really large outer leaves. So that way you just kind of have this nice light green. Now you're gonna cut this in half, and then each half into 4 wedges. Same way we did the beef, we're gonna put these under pressure for 3 minutes. The magical bell just rung. It's time to vent. Woo! This might take a couple of minutes and it's gonna get wet, but that's okay. We have our whole spread here. We have a little bit of parsley to go on top, some whole grain mustard that is traditionally served with corned beef and cabbage, and a little bit of butter to drizzle over everything. Let's check on our vegetables. It's looking perfect. Not mushy. It's not completely falling apart and overdone. We have a little bit of the broth that we're going to drizzle over the whole dish. Drizzle it with a little bit of butter, just for a little richness. A little Kerrygold, because keeping with the Irish theme. And it's served with a side of whole grain mustard. This past summer, my mom and I went to Ireland to see my grandmother's homeland. My great-great-grandfather was Patrick Pearse, and he helped pen the Irish Declaration of Independence. There's Pearse Station, there's Pearse Avenue, and his picture is located in many museums over there. It's really kind of cool. It was fascinating going there with my mom. I know he would be proud of this. It's probably what his grandmother used to make. Not in the Instant Pot though. Whether you like your corned beef and cabbage on a sandwich or on a beautiful platter like this, you don't have to be afraid to make it at home. Comment below on how you like to eat your corned beef and cabbage. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching. See you next time.